What's up? It's your boy, the one and only Pop DiBiase, the primetime capper. And boy, oh boy, I'm here in Dallas, Texas. And right now, let me bring you a special edition of the Primetime Angles. And this is for February 28th, 2020. And pretty much, man, I'm telling you guys right now, I got some great bets for you. And I'm just going to go through the bets, okay? So pretty much Saturday, we have the XFL Week 4. And I've been struggling this year in the XFL. I've been shut out, I think, 3 times this year already in the XFL in the 4 games. So I wouldn't be sitting up in here saying that, all right, well, you know, Pop's the genius of the XFL and everything, and he knows exactly how this thing is going to go. It doesn't really work like that. So pretty much I'm going to go ahead and wish upon a star this weekend. And I'm going to go ahead and take the over 39 in the Wildcats-Guardians game. Wildcats showed that they can score some points last week. I already knew that they were capable of scoring points and everything like that. It just, they needed a game to where they got very comfortable getting to know each other a little bit better, because it's just been not a good situation for this team, you know, the first 2 weeks of the year. But then in the third week, they put everything together, scored 5 touchdowns, had 5 turnovers, 3 sacks. You know, they had a hell of a game. Guardians are struggling. They're playing really bad football. They got a quarterback that doesn't really even want to play on the team right now. So they're going through it in a sense, and that's just a sad sight, to be dead honest with you. So literally, man, I'm telling you, this is going to be a very, very intriguing game, and I do feel like the over will happen in this game, because now the Guardians' defense is not as bulletproof as they were week 1, but we do need to remember they are going to be playing in MetLife for the first time since week 1. And we all know they did get a 23-3 win over the Vipers to start the season off as well, too. So you do have to put that into play. And so I'm going to go ahead and take the over 39 Wildcats-Guardians, because this is a game between 2 1-2 teams. And you got a West Coast team that's flying all the way back east, and they're going to be playing in the first game of the weekend as well, too. So we're going to have to see how this one truly goes. All right, so our next game is going to be the Dragons and the Battlehawks. The Battlehawks are the surprise of the XFL. They were a team that was not seen to be very good. They were actually one of the bottom teams when it came to who's going to win the XFL. They came out week 1 and they beat the Dallas Renegades, who are heavily favored on everybody's board. Well, not so much anymore, but at the beginning of the season, everybody had the Renegades running away with this thing, literally, the way that the odds looked. But, you know, they had to put in the factors that, you know, you have Cardell Jones down in D.C. playing for the Defenders. Pep Hamilton's making some great calls. Even though they had a mishap last week against L.A., they still got some great players down there. And then you still have the Houston Roughnecks as well, too, coached by June Jones, a guy that is very, very into, you know, the passing game and the trickery of the passing game as well, too. He's been able to capitalize on P.J. Walker and Cam Phillips as well. So it's been a really, really good run for the Roughnecks as well, too. But let me get back to the game that we're supposed to be talking about. This is going to be between the Dragons and the Battlehawks. The Battlehawks have Jordan Tiamu, who's a hell of a good quarterback. Reminds me of a bigger version of Tua somewhat. I know he's not as talented as Tua in most eyes, but to me, this guy is the one that's pushing this team. Also, Matt Jones, former NFL running back, he's doing a hell of a job right now on the Battlehawks as well, too. He's probably their most productive player, and they're 2-1 going into this game. And I know why they're 11.5-point favorite, because the Dome was rocking last week in their home victory against the Guardians. You know, their home crowd, they had the whole lower bowl filled up, man, and it looked good. It looked really good, and it looked like a place that was really excited about having football back again, and that's exactly what the XFL was going for. So that's going to wrap up the Saturday games, because what I'm going to do here in the Saturday game, I know I just got done talking so highly about the Battlehawks, but I'm still going to take the Dragons with the plus 11.5. You have to understand, this team should be able to cover the spread this week, because they're playing some good defense. They might have a little bit of issues when it comes to the quarterback position, but they do have some playmakers, and I think that they'll figure out ways to score points in this game. And you have to understand, this team does lock up as well, too. So that's one thing I will give them their props on, is that this team locks up, and they lock up very well as too. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Dragons plus 11.5. I know they lost 24-12 last week, fell apart in the second half. Things like that happen. I think they got a little bit too excited. They were at home and they were feeling like the home crowd was going to be able to boost them through like they did against the Vipers, but they were playing against a much better team in the Renegades. This game could be a definitive game for the Dragons moving forward, and I know that they're going to be all in because really you do not want to drop to 1-3 at this point, and you better go down fighting, and that's what I'm hedging on, is that they're going to go down fighting, so I'm going to take them with the plus 11.5. Now we move on to Sunday's games, and in Sunday's games we had the Renegades playing against the Roughnecks. Now, this game is going to be in Dallas at Global Life in Arlington. This is going to be the Battle of Texas, a battle of the two of the best teams in the league as well, too. Yeah, the Roughnecks coming in with the best record in the league, 3-0, while the Renegades are coming in 2-1, winners of their last two games as well. They did start off on a rocky start. Only home team to lose their opener as well, too, so they're going to want to get that get back. And since I'm in Dallas this week, or for this weekend, actually, I haven't been out here all week. I just got here today. I would say that this would be a Dallas Renegades win. I think that they go ahead and they win this game. They take the Roughnecks from them as well, because the Roughnecks were really close to losing last week against the Vipers, one of the lowly teams in the league. But as I told you guys before, we are taking shape in this league. So people do have to understand that we're at the point in time now where bad teams are about to start becoming good teams. And the good teams to start out are about to become really bad teams. So you have to be ready for that in all senses of the word. And you have to understand this is a wide open league as well. I don't think things are going to be settled until about week 7 or 8, because right now we're in a log jam. We got 3 1-2 teams, and we got 3 2-1 teams, 1 3-0 team, and 1 0-3 team. So there's still a lot of parity out there, and there's still a lot of season to play as well, too. So I'm going to take the Renegades with the thin money line, and that's going to be a plus 110. So we're going to get the small dog, the Chihuahua. So let's see how it shakes out. All right, we move on, and the final game of the weekend is going to be between the Defenders and the Vipers. This game is going to be in Tampa Bay. The Defenders are coming off a terrible loss, and that might be the worst loss all season the team has had in the XFL as well, too. You have to understand this team lost 39-9. They lost by 30 points. I haven't seen one team in this league yet lose by 30 points, and they wound up coming into the game 2-0. They weren't a bad team coming into this game, but the Wildcats just had a day to remember, and they really made sure that they took care of their business and went ahead and won that game. Now, it's a new week. It's a new team. And I think the Defenders are going to come into this one very confident, knowing that they're playing against another 0-3 team, another team, winless team. Let me be correct with that. And they pretty much are going to go in here and they're going to figure out a way to win this game. But I think that they're going to have to do it the long way. And I think that what they're really going to have to do is they're going to have to lock it up defensively as well. And I think that won't be a tough task, because the issues that Tampa Bay has been having at the quarterback position, it's like they're confused or something. I would say that you need to start Quentin Flowers already, but they keep playing the game. Aaron Murray's hurt, and then they can bring this Cornelius guy out, and he's not doing much of anything. Even though they did score last week, it was simply because Q was on point, and this guy is a South Florida graduate as well too, so he's a legend in Tampa when it comes to football. So you need to start the hometown hero and just go with it. Just go with it, Treshman. That's all I tell you. Just go with it, buddy. That's all you got to do is just go with it. All right, so we move on. Time to talk some college basketball real quick. And in college basketball, we have the Ivy League bets list, and we have Cornell playing against Dartmouth tomorrow. And Dartmouth is a team that's kind of been going through the motions. They had a long losing streak as well, too. And they haven't been a great road team either. Cornell has not been a good team at all this season. Only has 6 wins. So this game is kind of like, one that you just throw up against the wall and you try to figure out who the winner is going to be. So what I do here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to invest in the home team here. I'm going to take Cornell with the plus 110. It's a Friday night. The students will be out. They're going to be yelling loud and be proud and all that good stuff. And, Dartmouth is kind of like a rival as well. This is the Ivy League. I think all of them are rivals in a sense, but some of them are bitter rivals as well, too. And so I know that this game is really very even though the records aren't even, and it looks like Cornell should really get blown away from how you look at their record. But keep it real, this is not that far of a spread, and Dartmouth is a team that you cannot trust. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take Cornell with the plus 110. Now we move on, and we have ourselves another really good game between Princeton and Brown. And Princeton and Brown come in a pick'em situation. You have a Brown team that's 13-10, and then you have a Princeton team that's 12-11 this season. Princeton's not playing Princeton basketball this season. They're usually one of the top teams in the Ivy League, but they always will be a tough test for